Gavin Cochrane gains the lead back in the race for the Poker Masters Online PLO Series Championship if he finishes in second or better today. He'll have to face a couple online legends to jump back into the top spot on the overall leaderboard. Welcome in to final table coverage of event number 9, a super high roller pot limit Omaha tournament, a $25,000 buy-in, a prize pool of more than $1 million. Jeff Platt alongside another online legend. That would be Joey Ingram. Joey, a pretty stacked final three today. Pretty stacked final table overall.
Listen, you know, would have been great to see the 6. You know what I mean? I'm out there. My man George was in the mix.
The Wolf.
Would have been it would have been nice to see. Would have been nice to see the 6. Like those couple of those guys we saw right there. But yeah, it's good to be here, guys. Welcome. My name's Joey Ingram. Welcome to the show. We're watching three-handed pot limit Omaha, the great game, 25K tournament here, and we got Isildur in the mix here.
Viktor Blom.
Looking a little bit older here, looking a bit older for where I remember back in the day he had a little spiky hair or something like that.
That's right.
Looking a little young and spry. Turns out playing poker and having $1 million swings for about 10 years straight is going to set a man
just
back.
A little bit?
Yeah, it's like living in Vegas for 3 years and being in, you know, going through energy draining relationships. So that'll set you back a little bit too, Jeff. Amen to that.
But you have no experience in that, right? You're just guessing.
I wish I didn't have experience in that, buddy. I'll tell you that right now, man.
Our chip leader.
But I'm talking PLO. You know, it's like an escape from the world, Jeff.
That's right.
You get this nice hour or two escape, and then you go back to reality. And you know, people are wearing. Got our masks on in Vegas. Mandatory masks rule right now.
Andras Nemeth, our chip leader, another online legend.
Is he?
Pro Beers.
Is he?
Online.
I mean, I know
in the
multi-table
tournament
okay,
ranks.
I just remember him at PLO Cash Game. He's kind of crazy player back in the day, so I know he'd be a tournament guy, though, right? Crush the tournaments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him play and see what he's got, man.
Brings in the chip lead with more than 100 bigs.
Yeah, obviously we got Gavs back again. I mean, this guy, you know, we've already seen this guy twice here. I think I know what to expect from Gavs, right? He plays a very nice style. A little more conservative, I think, than some of the other players that we've seen so far. I'm curious to see how Andreas plays the big stack here.
This is Gavin Cochrane's 5th cash of the series. 2 second-place finishes.
Isn't this event 9?
6th.
So it's event 9.
Yes,
I mean, that's really impressive. That 5 cashes in 9 events. I mean, I don't care. It's some of the best pot limit players in the entire world in these tournaments. So, but I'm not surprised by what we've seen him play, right? Especially kind of how we saw him maneuver the other day, playing a little tighter, ladding up to second place. So Isildur takes that pot down, chipping up a little bit. I know people are out there rooting for Isildur. Isildur from Sweden, online pot Omaha legend, has some of the craziest sessions of all time. He's debated by some of the most talented poker players of all time that I know to be the most talented. They always say, like, if you started, I mean, this is like a ridiculous thing to say, but if you start a new game and who'd be the best player, and like Isildur would be the best player, Gus Hansen be the best player. First of all, we have no fucking idea who would be the best player in that situation. It's really fun to say the name Phil Ivey and these guys would be the best player, but I think it's one of the most ridiculous things that people say. But that's to say.
But with that said, there's a lot of talent there.
He'd be the most talented poker player if we start a new game, but we might not see him much longer here.
He does enter the day as the short stack, 15K, 30K blinds. 3 players left, 43 entries in this one.
Sorry, Andreas with a very no-limit hold'em 3-bet here with the ace-4.
He saw ace-king suited, didn't even look at the other two.
I don't know what's happening. You know, he's like, now this is the hand to take the stand with 3-bet. Isildur makes the call with the jack 10-10-9. He's going to fold his flop, and he's going to be left still with 20 big blinds. But go ahead, Jeff. Kind of get on with your information.
Sure. The brief summary of this tournament: 43 entries, $25,000 buy-in, a prize pool of more than $1 million. All 3 of these players guaranteed $139,750. Nice. There is a 135K pay jump from 3rd to 2nd. Up top in this one, $430,000, 258 points in the race for the Poker Masters Online PLO Series Championship, that purple jacket, and that free main event seat.
Bam. Say that 4 times fast. Can you do
it? It's difficult.
Looks like top pair, top kicker, gut shot here for Andreas. Isildur with the gutter as well, too. Backdoor quad draw, backdoor nut flush draw.
Isildur will just check fold.
Jeff, I played the PLO tournament. I told you I played, so I found another one last night. Played another PLO tournament last night.
You have the feel for the PLO tournaments.
There's literally none. There's none to play.
Right.
I'm very tempted. There's none to play. It's not a good spot to be in America and play some pot limit tournaments right now. So,
but this is helping the game grow. You would hope. Yeah, maybe.
It can't be any worse, right? I mean, listen.
Hope to ramp up PLO coverage at least a little bit.
Maybe we start promoting the shows, right? There's the final table, and we start promoting that. I don't know, Jeff. Maybe we do things like that. You think?
I think so.
I don't think anyone else. Other people don't know that. Apparently, I don't know. No one else realizes that. So, you see Isildur there? Fuck it. Just let him play it out. Let's not tell anybody.
He's one of our three. Isildur does open on the button with the ace-king 10 deuce.
So he's going with a 2.5x raise size here. A little smaller.
Ace-king 6-3 with hearts for Gavs. That's Gavin Cochrane, who does flop 6s and 3s.
Isildur does have backdoor straight draw, and he has that ace blocker potentially in his hand too.
He will fire 120,000.
Now Gavs don't think he's going to fold here, so I'd imagine they're going to check call or check jam all in here. Isildur doesn't have much behind. I guess he might fold here. Might think his hand might think he doesn't have any fold equity, but he does go with it. He does have the ace and the king for some overcards as well too.
Blom will lay it down, leaving himself 12 bigs. Nemeth, the chip leader. Gavin Cochrane in second. Viktor Blom, less than 400,000. Thank you all so much for joining us, both on our PokerGo Facebook page and on the Poker Central YouTube channel. Feel free to chime in the chat any questions you may have for Joey Ingram. And remember to click like, click subscribe, click follow on Facebook, click share, all that good stuff.
It seemed like a really poor size by Isildur on that flop there. Seems like it was a little bit too big. And it might not seem like much, but every big blind matters in this situation. So
sure. Raise and take it for Andras, who finished in second in the 25K PLO 6 max a couple months ago as a part of the Poker Masters Online. Lost that heads-up battle to Pascal Lefrancois.
The Poker Masters Online? Why do you say it like that?
I don't know. Just trying to mix it up. I feel like I've said Poker Masters Online so often. And then I had to differentiate between that Poker Masters Online and this Poker Masters Online.
They call this programmatic mind control when you just repeatedly say the same thing over and over again, hoping to ingrain it in someone's mind, and then it gets ingrained in your mind as the sayer to the point where you don't even realize you're saying it, Jeff.
Again,
you got to do your CIA research, Jeff. You're going to find out more about this.
They got me.
You're going to find out more about this. The subconscious programming they put in childhood content to create traumatic experiences that they pull out later on in life. You believe in that? You don't believe in that, do you? You don't believe in that stuff.
No, but
you might do. You might, Jeff.
I might look into it.
It's a great shirt you're wearing, by the way. I got to compliment you on that shirt. I walked in.
It is.
I mean,
this
is
too
why
stripy for the camera, I believe.
It's why they call you the professional, though.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a great shirt. It really is.
Thank you.
Those reads you're doing are powerful. They're really good stuff.
Thanks to Mr. Calvin Klein. No free ads, but appreciate his work.
He's not paying you money for this, huh?
No.
You sure? Okay. You got to
sure, I would happily take the endorsement deal.
Hashtag ad. Listen, they're pulling money off Facebook. They're going to put it somewhere. Influencers, Jeff. You might be the man for this, man. I'd wardrobe you up, man, if I was a brand right now. I'd put some clothes out. Why not, man? Take some photos. You get a nice cameraman in here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to make a Isildur. Isildur. He's going to call here with the 7-7-4 deuce. I mean, he's got a pair.
He's got a flush draw. Goes with it.
And it works. Down. I like it. Yeah. Nice play by Isildur. Mixing it up here.
Back up to about 440,000. Back up to about 15 big blinds.
Anyone's game. So we can see Isildur is going to be playing a little bit looser of a style than we've seen from some of the other players these final tables here with the short stack. Most players, I believe, would have folded the 7-7-4 deuce, but he decides stop and go. Works out for him.
And Gavs decides to limp on the button with the ace-queen-queen deuce.
Going to see a little bit more limping. We saw a lot of heads-up play. We see a lot of limping heads-up. In the three-handed play, we haven't seen a ton of players employ a limping strategy on the button. Isildur has that German two-pair top and bottom. Surprised he doesn't lead out here.
Checks around. 10 of spades on the turn. Andras picks up the ace-high flush draw. Isildur leads pot.
So Andreas does have the gutter as well, too. So he might decide to call here. He does have the big chip stack as well. He can bust out Isildur. Yeah. Gavs with double gutter. No flush draw, though.
Way. River card is a 6.
This would be a very nice check call here if Isildur can make it, if he does face a bet. I think with the draw is missing. He's got that 3 pair, that Dan Bilzerian. I don't think he's going to fold that hand, but Andreas does have good blockers there with the 7 and the deuce, but just too many draws miss out there. That yeah, probably not the best bluff spot.
So Blom back up to 20 bigs. Viktor Blom had 7 cashes in the Super High Roller Bowl online series, 3 wins and 2 second-place finishes.
How many events?
Out of 30 or so.
30 events?
Yes.
For
30. For total earnings
They're really
of
trying to milk these guys,
than
aren't they, man? Let's bust them all
$1.5
up, man. I mean, GG Poker, you see that? Is that true? 22 day ones?
Yeah, we got the World Series of Poker schedule for GG. Just released hot off the press.
22 day one. Is that true? That can't be true.
I think it's...
Get your ghosts lined up and ready for those final tables out there, which are some crazy stuff happening out there, Jeff. I'll tell you that right now. Crazy stuff happening out there.
5K buy-in, a $25 million guarantee for that WSOP main event.
So Gavs checks back here. Andreas turns the hidden set. And Gav's going to call one time with the top pair and the gut shot. And he has a very terrible hand to call any river bet, especially with the 9 and the 10. It's going to block some of the straight draws that Andreas potentially might have. So now Andreas has to think, how much do we want to value bet? And he's going to go bigger.
We'll bet pot.
Hoping at that point Gav says anything. Maybe he has a, right, like, I don't necessarily know if I love the size just because it's very unlikely Gavs has 2 pair. He bets those on the flop. We block the jack, so we block the ace jack, and then on the river, I mean, he's getting ambitious, hoping you call by some sort of 2 pair that maybe check back flop or made it on the river, but I might have liked a little smaller size there.
Blom will defend here with the queen 10, 8-6 with spades.
But then you could also say when you're bluffing there, you want to bet. Like if you had king, queen 10, you might just go pot there. So if you're thinking about, right, what hands, okay, well, I want to pop my set of jacks. I want to pop my king, queen 10 type hands for balance. I don't know how I mean, I don't think people are really overly balanced in these kind of spots. I think they're just kind of playing pretty exploitably.
Good question from Ryan Duvall in the YouTube chat. We know a lot of you are new to the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. Ryan asks, does it have to be only 3 community cards and your whole cards, or can it just be
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked, my beautiful friend. I'm glad you asked. So the great game works in that you look at your community cards, right? You got 5 on the screen, all right? Mm-hmm. Take 2 away, you're looking at 3. Then you use 2 in your hand. That's how it has to be. Any 2 in your hand.
Absolutely mandatory.
You pick the 2.
Right, but it's got to be 2.
But technically, you pick the 2, and then the computer software is going to tell you which 2 they're going to pick, and it's going to be the better one.
Yeah.
So what you might see as the 2 might not be what the computer software sees as the 2. They have a mind of their own, Jeff.
That's true. I mean, I think we want to go with what the software picks for you overall.
Wouldn't that be something if the software picked the wrong hand?
Yeah.
I think that's happened before in ACR. Someone sent me a screenshot. They said it worse. But then it also, they might have been playing the wrong game. So I think they were playing the wrong game, honestly. Because people sometimes send me, like, how did I lose this hand? I go, buddy, you're not playing. What are you talking about? You're not playing the right game. Like, what are you doing, man? I'm like Joey Roman support out there on Twitter and Instagram, man. They send me all kind of cool stuff.
You're like, that was not a software mistake. That's a
sometimes it is, but
people issue.
Yeah.
Ace King 7-6, double suited for gas.
22 day ones, huh?
Do you believe
Do you like beating Fedor holes 22 times? Then come play the main event where anyone has a chance.
I think you have to root for Fedor to just get through on day 1, so then he doesn't play again. He already makes day 2, and he's not in the next 21 flights. I think you got to root for the good players in day 1. And then
depends how many screen names those good players have, Jeff. Okay, depends how many screen names those good players have. What if the one name gets through on the first day and the other 10 they have don't get through on that day, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Well, hopefully we go real names then for the World Series.
Hate to burst your bubble, Jeff, but a lot of real people out there in the world. Isildur, top and bottom here.
4s will rip it. Nemeth will call. Isildur all in and at risk. Try card is a jack.
God.
It's trips for Andras Nemeth.
Terrible turn
Isildur
card for Isildur.
needing a 10 or 4 does not come on the river. And that will do it for Viktor Blom. Out in third for $139,750. 84 points in the race for the Poker Masters Online PLO Series Championship. This was his second cash of the series. He finished in second place in event number 2.
Nice run, Isildur. Nice to see you at the final table. Great to see you play down to 3. Would have been nice to see you play down from 6, but no capabilities to make that happen here. So we got to see you play a little bit, buddy. Nice job, man. Appreciate watching you play. Now, Gavs and Andreas have moved by each other, Jeff.
Yeah,
they look like they're...
We'll spread them out just a little bit.
No, I like this. Let's keep them on each other. I like this a lot. This is nice, man. This is like a real intimate final table. This is real close, intimate, kind of spending some time together, maybe getting to know each other a little bit more. I like this a lot. Real intimate experience. We don't know one of the cards, but I like this. I like what I'm seeing.
If you're teaching a date poker and you're like, hey, come sit by me.
This is like they're at like a dinner, like sushi samba or something like that. Maybe getting some nice sushi with a little bit of wagyu right now. Andreas teaching Gavs about Potlam and Omaha. Here you go, baby. Raise the ace jack 10-4.
Perfect.
When the guy limps, raise the ace jack 10-4. Maybe puts his arm around you or something like that. Tells you a joke.
Nemeth enters heads
You've been
up
there, Jeff.
with more than a 3-to-1 chip lead.
You've been there a few times, haven't you? You've been there a few times, haven't you, Jeff?
Times, got lucky a couple times.
I like this. Is a real. There's a new experience for the final table in the Poker Masters.
Ace, King, Queen, 7 with clubs. Blind still 15K, 30K with 3,750 chip ante. Both these players guaranteed more than $275,000. First place, though, is worth $430K. So playing for about $155,000.
I'm in.
And with this heads up showing, Gavin Cochrane moves back into the top spot on the leaderboard for the overall series. He's in first place in the race for the coveted purple jacket and the free Poker Masters Online PLO Series main event seat valued at $51,000.
You love saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andreas mixing it up here. Ace 8, 7, 7 double suited. Once again, a hand. Not everyone would 3-bet here, but he does put the pressure on Gavs. Gavs lays it down. Gavs is still left with a lot of big blinds. 40? How much? 48? 46? Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I thought he was shorter stack. I'm looking, I'm like, wait, he's got a lot of big blinds here.
He is plenty deep. And we have seen some lengthy heads-up battles throughout this week.
Well, I did just get here, so I'm ready to go here.
Sure. We're happy to settle in for the long haul for this one. And Gavs is happy with that flop. Comes Ace, Queen, Jack. He just flops the stone cold nuts. His royal flush draw, unfortunately, is blocked by Andras's Jack of Hearts in his hand.
Why do you got to ruin it?
Sorry. Oh, there we go. There he goes. He's like, you know what? I've had enough.
What's wrong? What did he do? Did he bet too much at you? Maybe he smelled a little bit or something like that. You know, a smelly date's good, Jeff. Anything worse than a smelly date?
No.
Aye. Look at that. Wow, he must have really ticked him off. You had to move away from that. Got away from
he moves away and then check raises.
He's like, no more soft playing, buddy.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Josh makes the call with the jacks and the flush draw. It's now jacks and 5s.
He really does not want to see the heart. I mean, he wants to see the heart in his mind. And maybe you can take it away if an ace or a queen comes. That board pairs, potentially bluff. But now he's going to be able to get away.
Gavin Cochrane with the nuts with 984K behind, 787K in the middle.
They call that nut, Jeff. Nut. The nut with the nut redraw. Mm-hmm. You always want to have those redraws if you can have your nuts. So Andreas does improve his hand, has the bottom 2 pair, but not strong enough to continue here.
Does lay it down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could be drawing dead there. I mean, never really drawing dead. Well, I guess he isn't drawing dead here. Usually your flush draw or your full house is going to be live there, but not. You're certainly not getting your money in good there at all. So gonna have to lay it down. But some people might gamble. You never know. I've seen some plays down at that on the $3 rebuy in the Global Poker Streets. You know, they got that nice $3.
Yeah, there we
PLO
go.
tournament. Global Poker's PLO offering for tournaments is $3, $5, and $11. Oh my God. It's like a
Let's
different
ramp
planet.
it up a little bit.
We got party poker. They're having 25Ks every day here.
Yeah, right.
This is America. Welcome. We can tear down statues, but we can't have it higher than $11 on the only poker site you can play in 49 states, technically.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
It's okay. We're not sad about it, Jeff.
No.
You can play 22 day ones on GG.
I mean,
for
if you
World
want to take
Series.
over the PLO tournament world, you're going to need some more offerings, though.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm gonna become a god.
Or just move to Canada or Mexico.
Oh yeah.
To Norway, like
I could
you were
turn the
talking about.
I could turn the Canadian Wi-Fi on, maybe.
Yeah, maybe just move there.
Move there, yeah, I think so. With the Wi-Fi on right now, I mean, listen, you know what we got to do here. I'm kidding. I got no Wi-Fi here. Come on.
Wisco Baron in the chat. Joey, at what big blind point do you shove? Obviously, shoving a little bit tougher in pot limit.
That's a good question.
No
Yeah,
Hold'em.
so it's a little different here, right? So when you're playing Texas Hold'em, you know, somebody makes a raise, they make a raise to 2.2x. You can just ship it in for 19, but in the great game, you can't do that, right? Pot limit Omaha. So if somebody makes it 3 big blinds, the most you can make it is 9 big blinds. So if you have 19 big blinds left, you can't just ship it all in. That'd be an interesting game. I don't think I want to play it, but yeah, good question though. But it's just a little different here, right? So it's not going to work the same way, which means strategies are different and players are going to play different too. Good question though. I mean, I forget about these questions. These are great questions. If you have them, feel free to ask them, no matter how basic you think they are. I don't mind answering them.
Throw out any questions for sure in both the YouTube channel chat and the Facebook chat. Be sure to like our respective pages, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. J.R. McCabe, our guy in the Facebook chat.
22
High Fashion
ones.
Friday, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that shirt professional.
Ben Ludlow in the mix. Paul Russell
What's up,
is
Ben?
here.
What's happening, Ben? Who we got? Paul Russell?
Paul Russell.
What's up, Paul?
Alice Pop.
What's up, Alice?
Facebook chat, everybody checking in, saying hi. Hello to all.
Welcome, guys. Yeah, I knew Jeff was wearing the shirt, so I wore a little textured jacket here with the skull on it.
Yeah, I like it.
Shout out to symbolism right here, you know what I mean? But a happy skull, so I don't know if that reverses depending
Okay,
any potential
interesting. Yeah.
any potential occult-related activities. But JR's out there learning. He's grinding some pot in Omaha. He wants to get in some games or what?
Yeah, maybe.
You think so? He probably done playing Texas Hold'em. He got bored of the game. So
JR, big part of this partnership with Poker Central and Party Poker.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Young and the team over there. They all come together to create the Poker Masters Online PLO series.
Is that how it works? It's not
I think
partnership.
in
Is that how it
theory,
works?
yeah, you just throw around some ideas. I think Party Poker was certainly pleased with the Poker Masters Online initial offering in April.
Rob Young's happy to fill some guarantees. He
Yeah,
hit the guarantees with Rob's happy, man. Rob's a simple man. Guarantees need him hit. Stressed out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week about hitting his guarantees. Anytime a tournament series going on, he's like, hope we hit the guarantees. Hope we hit the, you know what I mean? How about that? All that guarantee money coming this summer, Jeff?
Oh, there's plenty of
$250 million in guaranteed tournaments spread out. I mean, at minimum, right, with all the series going on right now. World Series Poker's having like $100 million first place. Did I see that right?
I think $100. Yeah, $2 million prize pool.
These people are crazy. I love it.
We'll feature some of the World Series of Poker coverage on PokerGo.
How many events, Jeff? 7?
I think 7 or 8.
7.
7?
Yeah.
7 total?
7.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
7.
I haven't gotten the call yet. I'm waiting by my phone.
Are they going to call me? Are they calling Tuck? Who are they
No,
calling
right,
for this one,
right.
right? Who's on standby for the World Series of Poker commentary this year on PokerGo?
Could they bring in Lon and Norman for the online broadcast?
Oh, Norm can do a little dancing, and Gavs is gonna get a little induced bluff induced here with the set of 5s, checked it down, flop, turn. Andreas with that 7 blocker on the river goes for the bet. Doesn't work out. Yeah, you think they're going to bring back in, they'll probably bring back in Norm. He's been dancing. He's going a little crazy. You got to bring him in, right?
I mean, when you think about high-stakes online poker tournaments, you think Norm and Chad.
I do, actually. When I think about failed relationships,
Yeah.
I think about myself and my friends that I know, right? I certainly don't think about Norm. Listen, man. But I relate more to what Norm says as time goes on. Though,
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, like I listen to what he says, and when you're 23, it hits different than when you're 35. When you're 35, Norm talking about those 3 ex-wives hits real different.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now.
Now I kind of see where he's coming from.
Now I definitely see where he's coming from, man. Shout out to Norm. He's battling on Twitter every
Norm
day.
and Chad.
He's funny. I like
Absolute
him.
legend.
So Gavs here has the overpair with the 6s. Has what does he have? A Canadian flush? What does he have here? Ace-6 clubs. The 6s are really kind of breaking my brain. He has trips. No, he doesn't have trips. Okay.
He does have the ace-high flush.
What's going on here? Okay.
What is a Canadian flush?
Canadian. That's when you almost have a straight flush draw. Canadian flush draw. Check on the river?
Yes.
Okay.
He does take that pot down. Chipping into the lead that Andras Nemeth has. About $4.5 million for Nemeth. About $2 million for Cochrane, our current leader in the race for the PokerMasters Online PLO Series Championship.
By the way, shout out to the crew in the back.
Absolutely.
I was admiring the very beautiful setup back there.
There's a lot that goes into this, huh?
Really cool stuff. Yeah, real.
Yeah,
I mean,
major shout outs to Kelly, to Sean, to Drew, to David, to Ed.
Kelly told me the craziest thing I think I've heard this year. And by this year, I mean, that's not true. I've heard this week. And he told me that he invented the RFID card.
Wow.
In the process, enabling live stream poker to be what it is now, to be able to be live. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I was talking to him about the card, and he's like, well, you know, he's shy about it, so I didn't just come out.
Right. He's not a guy who will brag about it.
Yeah, he's not coming out and just telling us. I was like, wait. You invented the
you?
RFID
Yeah.
in 2004. He's like, yeah, and he explained the process, how it happened. I said, that's one of the coolest things I've ever heard in my life right there. So,
wow.
Yeah, because they used to use the whole cam before and edit it, and then they started doing it live and how long it took in the process and stuff like that. So he was putting me on some game for that, man. It was interesting stuff. See if Gav's here. He has blockers to the full house there. Didn't bet the flop, though, so I don't think he's going to be able to credibly represent a full house here. He can represent a 10. Of course, he could check back the flop with the 10. Andreas has 3 queens in his hand. That's not a full house out there at home for you, okay? JR, you might see a full house. He just has pocket queens. 3 on the board, 2 in the hand. But Gavs is going to exert the maximum bet size.
Well played.
And Andreas, I mean, unless he has a 10 there, he's going to be in a very tough spot. If he has 8, 9, in a tough spot. I mean, he's in a tough spot with any hand that doesn't include a full house in it.
The chip lead is down to about 2-1 or so. Gavin up to 70 bigs.
Gavs is due to win one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's certainly true. This is his 5th cash. He has 2 second-place finishes. Event number 1 and event number 5.
I was looking through the leaderboard yesterday. Who took down some of those events, Jeff? Can you let us know?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yesterday's one-day event was a 10K buy-in, 52 entries, creating a prize pool of $520,000. And no surprise that another player from Finland wins that one. That would be Sami Kelapuro.
Lars Luzak. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Isaac Haxton, Party Poker
Hollywood.
Ambassador, finished in 2nd. João Vieira in 3rd. Banks Honored in 4th, continuing his strong series to go along with 2 wins.
The kid's killing it, man.
He absolutely is.
Kind of like an older man now, but, still used to be a kid. we both used to be a kid together, brother.
Kids.
Now we're getting a little older here.
Jens Kulinen, the other 2-time winner. We saw him take down event number 7 yesterday, right here on our featured final table coverage.
So we are seeing some play here, Jeff. We're seeing a lot of bluffs here. Gavs puts that blocker into motion. Unfortunately, runs into top of range for Andreas. He has the ace-jack. Gavs doesn't always have to bluff there with that king blocker, but as played, thought it was a good spot. But it didn't work out. Maybe a little bit too loose there from Gavs, but something to consider on his part.
John Scare in the YouTube chat wants to know, where's the best place in Vegas to play the great game?
That's a good question. So right now it's a little different because normally it's Aria and the Win, and they're always closed down right now. So what's been happening? Potland Omaha, Venetian's been having it pretty consistently. I've seen it at the Bellagio as well, too. So if you want to go, I mean, there's not much differential to me in between those two. One's 5, I think one's 6-handed, one's 5-handed, so it kind of depends what you want to play. So I wouldn't say the offerings are abundant right now for the great game, but maybe you can get a higher stakes game going at something like at the Venetian or something like that. But yeah, it's not like thriving right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's some stuff. You come to town, let me know. People have been hitting me up. They're coming back to town a little bit. I always get a lot of messages from people wanting to play poker, go out for a drink, or go to dinner, stuff like that. So I normally say no because it ends up being weird. But I'll be honest with
Find him on Twitter. You can at least ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? At
yeah.
Ingram1.
Cold call me. That's what they do.
Follow me at Jeff Platt. Follow us at PokerGo. Stay
You want to
tuned
go
to
out
the
to drink
latest
with
in
Jeff?
stream.
Jeff will take you for a
Yeah,
drink.
we'll go grab a cocktail.
Yeah, Jeff's down for a little drink once in a while here.
Absolutely.
So Andreas here has a pretty solid hand. I mean, he has 2 pair, right, but the deuce and the 6 here. I think he's going for a little bit of value bet, but 1/3 pot. And I think he's got a hand that Gav's going to have to call with here. But Gavs does lay it down.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Gavs, very surprising that he would fold that hand there. He does have 2 pair with the jack and the 6. He folded there, right? To the 1/3 pot. Interesting.
Yes, he did.
I mean, with the draws missing, he does have the queen, which blocks some of the queen 10s, but I'm surprised he wouldn't look that one up there. Interesting fold. Nice read by him, right? I mean, yeah. Normally I would think jack 6 would be a call there. But maybe he thinks he would bet bigger with a bluff, and he would bet that size only for value. Maybe that's some logic. Interesting hand, interesting fold, interesting size. I mean, well played. When he does size down like that, it does look like he is going for a lighter value bet. It's usually a strategy a lot of people use. They size down, right? They're very exploitive in their bet sizing. And
heads up for the title of event number 9. Heads up for $430,000.
ooh, both make straights on the river here. Nut straight for Gavs. Andreas has the jack and the king in his hand, so I expect Gavs to fire a pot-sized bet here. On the river, hope to get called by a 6 or jack.
Far close to pot and does get snap called. Decent pot headed in the direction of Gavin Cochrane out of the United Kingdom.
So we're seeing, Jeff, different strategy on the button strategy today from Andreas. More aggressive, more 3Xing instead of limping. And we've seen these matches so far, they kind of start off, they feel each other out, and then it starts ramping up a little bit, right? One person makes a bluff, the other person's like, you checked my ego, I got to make bluffs against you. You know what I mean? Like they're playing passive, and then all of a sudden one player goes a little crazy, the other person feels inclined to have to start going crazy too.
Yeah, that's certainly what we've seen over this week.
They make this agreement. They limp, and then start 3-betting, another person starts 3-betting. And also, right, you feel each other out. Maybe you see how they're playing. You see where they might be weak at in their strategies. So we saw Gavs kind of limp in these hands. That first heads-up match we played, he limped a hand like a king-jack 7-4, but now he's including that in his raise range.
And here is a 3-bet with the queen 10-9-8 with clubs. To your point, starting to open up a little bit.
Exactly. You can see that percentages 52-48 pre-flop. But this could be a board that I think Andres is going to see bet at a pretty high frequency, and Gavs has just the one pair, which is the problem with when you raise call with these kind of hands is you end up in a lot of marginal spots on the flop where you have like a little back door, you got a top pair to go with it. You're going to face a bet, and then on the turn, you're really praying for your card to come, and even when your card comes, in this situation, if a 7 or a jack came that wasn't a heart, obviously you're feeling pretty nice about it, but a lot of bad turn cards for you that you can't continue on.
Yeah,
like
9
the
of
9.
hearts is not a pretty one in the mind of Gavin Cochrane.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Andreas bet again. If Gavs has a nut flush draw, I believe he would raise the flop pair, which means his range here is going to be a little bit weaker. It's going to include some flush draws, but a lot of one pair type hands. So Andreas can put a lot of pressure on him, as we're going to see right here exactly with that sizing. And this is the problem with this pre-flop is you compound these mistakes, and a lot of weaker players get in these spots all the time, where they end up in these marginal flop spots because they made marginal pre-flop decisions, and then they end up in turn spots where they sometimes make a play. They go crazy, Jeff.
Nemeth back up to 5 million in chips. Andras Nemeth out of Hungary. This is second cash of the series. He won event number 2 for 126K.
Congrats to him, man. Prober is his screen name, right? Yeah, he's at a lot of tournament final tables, right? He's like a tournament.
Multi-table wizard. He beat Viktor Blom heads up in event number 2.
Isildur.
Busts him
Getting
in
close,
third
buddy.
today, yeah.
So this goes check on the flop. Gavs has the 10. He's got the straight draw, flush draw. Not a strong flush draw. Remember, the flushes go down in value, especially on paired boards. So even on a non-paired board, a low flush is not necessarily going to be that valuable.
And here is a flush for both.
So let's see if Gavs decides to value bet here. I think he's probably going to check this hand, hope to induce a bluff from Andreas. He wants to be check calling some of his flushes. But he might decide to value bet. He's
he will lead
half
here.
pot. Wouldn't be a bad hand to check with here as well, too.
Andras happy to make the call with the king high flush.
Yes, people might say, why doesn't he raise there? Usually when you raise there, you're not going to get called by much worse, especially on the paired board. But maybe it's something to consider. I mean, maybe you think about it, right? And maybe you say, maybe you make a small raise there and you fold to any aggression. If Gavs was bluffing you there with blockers, or if he had a full house, maybe he pots that river.
Yeah.
So when he sizes down there, maybe that does mean, okay, he's either value betting a straight or value betting maybe a weak flush, or he's blocking bet in a situation like that. So maybe you could say, okay, this might be a spot where I go for an exploitative raise where I normally wouldn't raise. Try to find that extra value.
Gavin Cochrane, not much of a live player, but we've seen him pop up here and there at some PLO tournaments, including at the British Poker Open. He finished in 4th place at a 10K PLO. That was won by George Wolf.
Does George got a nickname?
We call him the Wolf. It's not the most creative of sorts. Brent Hanks, who is in the chat, is kind of our nickname guy.
Brent would say it way better, though. He's like,
yeah. No, I agree with that.
He's like the Wolf, or I don't know. He like really.
The Wolf is howling.
Ever since he started doing commentary, his octaves have gone up at least like 5.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
Like when I first met him, he's like, hello, hello. Now he's like, welcome to PokerGo. This is the Brent Hanks. You know what I mean? He's like yelling and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No.
I do appreciate the spirit and the energy my man Brent brings to the table. So Andreas counterfeits him on the river here, has that top pair with the jack. Happy to see a showdown here.
Wisco Baron in the chat says, great analysis, Joey. Thank you all for chiming in our Facebook chats, our YouTube chats.
Thank you.
Feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to our Poker Central YouTube channel. Tons of strong content on there, including Run It Back with Remco, where he brings in a poker icon, and they look at some fantastic shows from the past.
Love that show, man. He's got a bunch of legends on that show, dude. Got Hashem on there. He's got Antonio Sfondiari.
Antonio, they just reviewed his big 1-for-1 drop.
Yeah. The Fossil, man. Greg Raymer with those sick glasses. Jeff, were you watching those sick glasses he had?
Yeah.
You're just like, what the hell are those
World
glasses?
Series.
My man's wearing it. Got the rock underneath it. Got the fossil protector. The dude was ahead of his time, honestly.
Yeah.
How is no one else? How has Helmuth not hopped on that whole like custom glass that wave, man? I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't have a collaboration, some sort of.
He was pretty. Helmuth was pretty early on with the shades with the earbuds.
Yeah, it's just like
before most other people had those, and then didn't have those. You see the chip lead for Andras Nemeth, more than a 4-1 chip lead at that. You can catch some of those early World Series of Poker coverage episodes on PokerGo.
Dude, I watched the, top 5 hands from one of the events. Just
Championship Run?
Just epic.
The show that I may or may not voice over?
It wasn't a championship run, no. It was a top 5 compilation.
Pack up, thank you very much, and good night. But on PokerGo,
I look forward to watching the championship
all
run
episodes
starring Jeff Platt.
of Championship Run are available.
I'm very excited to check those out, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I am. I'm ready. But these hands were epic. It was like Mike Mattisau all in with Kings versus Aces, and the rail.
That's such a good one.
Nuts. And this year it would be like it'd play differently, but so Gavs makes the bottom full house here.
And didn't the rail tell Mattisau like you're good? Like you won,
dude,
and so he turned around thinking that his aces
held. It was like Ray Batar like patting him on the back like he's a child. Like what's going on in that hand? That hand is insane.
Yeah.
Like the audience is just crazy. And then it goes Kings versus Aces, and Mattisau's doing his usual complaining thing.
Right, just knows he's gonna lose.
And then the king comes on the flop, and everyone's like freaking out. I haven't seen that much energy in about 8 years in that room in there.
Oh, right. He had the kings, flop the king.
Yeah, and the river was the ace.
Right, okay.
Heartbreaking. And then the guy with the ace is like, yes. Told you, yes. Like, this is
told you, yeah.
Something like that.
Told you I'd get aces and win.
He's just like clapping like this.
I am the best.
Oh, it's amazing.
Was that Lazar?
I think it was Lazar, yeah.
Oh, that was
Scott Daneman has
World
jacks,
Series
and he's just looking all Scott Daneman style over there, just with his
Steve Daneman?
Steve, my bad. Shout out to him. Disrespect the name like that. Shout out Steve.
What's Steve Daneman up to?
I don't know what's he doing now. So Google that guy.
Yeah.
See if we can get him on championship run. Maybe we get him on Run It Back with Remco.
Yeah.
It'd be a
fun.
Plus
Just a guy who loved to play poker. Just having a good time.
Brand. That was his brand. So we're seeing a lot more limp pots here. Andreas switching up his strategy on the button a little bit. They both flop. One has a gutter, one has an open end straight draw. Gavs turns the open end straight, has the nuts. Andreas has a gut shot still, but don't see him continuing here. Especially now he has Gavs down. Maybe he slows down a little bit, changes up on the aggression.
Steve Daneman, by the way, it looks like he has kept his job as an accountant, like he said he would. Steve, the tax man, Daneman.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I miss him. I like that guy.
Just love the game. 9764 double suited for Andras.
What happened to Eric Molina? You know what happened to him?
I don't know.
A spiky haired kid. I miss that guy too. Hoyt Corkins.
Hoyt.
Miss that guy.
Absolute legend. A WPT crusher.
Bad turn card there for Gavs.
That is a straight for Andras Nemeth.
Very bad turn card. He did check this back. He's got the overpair and the gut shot. Now he has the 8. He has the queen blockers, so he might decide he doesn't want to give this one up yet on the turn.
He's got the Broadway draw also.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him raise here with the queen blockers in his hand. But could just call as well, too. Does
raise to 301,000.
Andreas in a little spot here. Has the second nut straight. Your opponent checks back. But now he's telling you he has queen 9. Plus, there's also a lot of bad river cards for your hand, too. So, yeah,
Josh just calls.
That might.
7 on the river.
So, Gavs has to be thinking here. He could have that 7-9. Of course, he's going to have some 2 pairs, some flush draws as well. Gavs has some showdown. You know, a little bit. He kind of check back.
Roll his eyes and check.
Yeah.
Now down to under $1 million.
It's a bad turn card for Gavs right there, because if your opponent does have that 9, maybe just get stubborn, they don't fold. So I would have been curious to see what he would have done on a heart or on a lower card than that 7.
A $155,000 difference between second and first. A first place prize of $430,000.
What names we got in the field, Jeff? Who we got showing up here, man? Ben Tollerine I saw in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, and
who we got playing these events, Jeff?
You mentioned it to start the show. The final 6 in this one was pretty stacked. George Wolf finishing in 6th for $58K. João Vieira out in 5th for $75K. In 4th, a guy we've seen plenty on our coverage, Aku Juantausta out of Finland. Finished in 4th for $97K. And then we saw Viktor Blom's elimination in 3rd. Tomorrow we'll feature coverage of event number 11.
Who's in the mix?
A 10K high roller. Let us see who is in the mix.
Jeff's got the dream
500K
machine.
guarantee. Our chip leader is the current leader in the race for the PokerMasters Online PLO Series.
No way.
Before this tournament ends. That would be Eos Parsonen.
Oh, my. How do these guys do it?
Gavin Cochrane is in the top 10.
Oh,
Andras Nemeth is in 3rd.
Gav's
Victor
in the top
Blom
10.
is in
Oh,
4th.
look
In
at
2nd, your guy Andrew Pantling.
How many people are playing in this event?
25 entries so far. Late registration still open for a couple hours.
Okay.
But it is just another stacked field. Jens Kuhlinen is there. Another 2-time winner. Ben Sonnert.
Ben Sonnert, of course. So Jens is in it too, right? So they're all competing for that purple jacket.
Yeah.
Of course, I saw the purple
down
jacket.
the stretch they come.
It's a beautiful jacket.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And, just 2 days left as Gavs has that ace-high flush draw.
This is it.
Top 2 pair for Andras Nemeth.
We're going to see all the money get in here, Jeff. Andreas. It
goes check,
wow.
check.
Ooh,
Jack of spades on the turn.
Gavs. That's that 6 cents right there to check that back. Knowing him be getting all in versus the top 2 pair.
Andras will lead here.
Wow.
Gavs calls, misses on the river.
This could have been it. Especially if he bets that flop and he gets check raised. He's at least calling, right? There's some merit to potentially going all in, but he might just call the check raise. And then on the turn here, have to call it off, yeah. But this went very different. Wow, this is a very different hand,
Check on the river. Gavs down to 818,000 in chips. Still more than 25 bigs.
Mm-hmm.
Andras Nemeth, though, so close to a title, and he would become the 3rd 2-time winner at the PokerMasters Online PLO Series, just 9 events in, 10 events in overall. We'd have 3 2-time champions.
Pretty impressive.
That's a crazy one.
Pretty impressive, yeah. Poor Gavs, never always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right?
But he's still got time. He's still got chips.
Yeah. So he has the 2 pair with the 6 here. Andreas has a second nut straight. Not a happy second nut straight. A lot of bad turn cards for your hand with the spade. Board pairing as well, too.
Jackson 4s for Gavs.
Gavs proves his hand a little bit there. Has the Dan Bilzerian 3 pair.
Methyl bet pot, 127,000.
Yeah, tough spot for Gavs. Just had the 6 in his hand. I expect him to call 1 here with the straight draw.
He does. River card is a queen. Nemeth straight is best.
So both flush draws miss. Gavs' hand looks pretty weak at this point in time. He might be tempted to call here with this combination with the blocker 6. Has 1 jack of spades, 1 6 of hearts in his hand. He does snap call, yeah.
Bet pot, the snap call from Gavs. And Gavs now down to 244,000 in chips, about 8 bigs. Andras Nemeth, oh so close to that title.
Yeah, can't fault Gavs for making that call, right? You might say his hand isn't that strong, but his range looks weak. And, of course, his opponent could have both of those misdraws as well, too. Could have the blocker in his hand as well. Just a very unlucky spot for Gavs to end up in, a very good spot for Andreas to end up in.
9-7-7-6 with diamonds for Cochrane.
That's how it goes sometimes here. It's like this hit and run good that you sometimes have.
Yeah.
Andreas is trying to bust him. He's trying for that disrespectful bust out here.
Comes 6-5-3 with 2 spades. Nemeth flops the flush draw. Gav's 7's best for now. They do get it all in. Gavin Cochrane all in and at risk. Looking to dodge a spade for now. It is a 6 on the turn. Trips for Gavs. Queen on the river.
Okay,
we're still in it.
We're still in it.
You never know.
We're still in it. Okay.
Right up to 16 bigs.
Exactly, man. Anyone's game. Andreas went really disrespectful with that 10-9-4-4 call. That's some disrespectful stuff. You bust out with the 10-9-4-4 against that hand, you might want to quit playing for the day. Anytime you take a real bad beat, real disrespectful beat, sometimes best to stop playing for the day. Most losing players just compound their losses at that point in time. You need a very strong mental game to be able to overcome that consistently. But you're breaking mice and stuff like that.
8-7-6-6 with hearts.
So let's see if Andreas just, I'd probably just start limping with some hands like this versus raising with them. Probably go more high card hand, raising with limping these type of hands. He's tanking. Andreas looks real well taken care of, right?
Yeah.
Reminds me of you a little bit.
Slick hair, yeah. See some me and
no
Andras.
product in your hair today, huh?
Andras and me. No, I have a little in there, but you know when you put the headset on, it's just good night to any hairstyle you were going for. Okay, so we are heads up for the title. Gavin Cochrane, Andras Nemeth. We're a little bit frozen for now. A little bit of technical difficulties.
Tanking.
We're going to figure it out. Maybe he's just tanking with the 8-7-6-6.
He's paying homage to Germany right now. Let him do his thing. We're paying homage to Germany right now. Shout out to all the German players out there.
Nemeth close.
Not my man Dominic Nietzsche, of course. Not you, buddy. You wouldn't tank like this.
No, he knows DTO. You know, he's just got it ingrained in his mind.
Dom just knows what to do.
He just goes.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Dom. He's grinding DTO every day.
Nemeth looking for his 2nd win of this series. If Gavin Cochrane cannot complete this comeback, here we go. There's the race to 90,000. Then he would have his 3rd second-place finish. Oh, maybe not a race. Maybe limping in on the button.
Oh.
He took back the race.
The joke raise.
Yeah,
We've seen that. Shout out to Mania Mike.
Yeah.
The joke raise. Okay, we haven't seen that in
it's like I'm all in call. I was just kidding.
And now I'm never coming back to live at the bike. Poor guy. I miss him. This is going to be it then, yeah.
9-5-4. The jacks
another
for Cochrane,
coin flip,
good for now.
Yeah, another coin flip here. See his percentages, 52-48.
That's pot. There's the raise. Here we go. Gavin Cochrane all in and at risk, looking for his jacks to hold up. King on the turn.
Good
so
card.
far, so good for Gavin Cochrane. River card. Oh, the river is a 7. It is a straight for Andras Nemeth. That will do it for Gavin Cochrane out in 2nd place for $275,141. It is Andras Nemeth's 2nd title of the Poker Masters Online PLO Series. He wins $430,000. That's an additional 258 points in the race for the Poker Masters Online PLO Series Championship. It is Cochrane on top of the overall series leaderboard. Ewas Parsonen in 2nd. Andras Nemeth in 3rd. Quite the showing from the Hungarian today.
Heck yeah, that was a great, nice 43-minute broadcast, 48-minute broadcast right there.
They worked us today.
Yeah, congratulations, Andras. I think he, we didn't get to see too much of him play, unfortunately. I would have liked to really see him play, see how he got that big stack. But he put the pressure on heads up. You can kind of see how the equities run out there in terms of when you get all in with these spots. And, right, Gavs, unfortunately, I mean, 2nd place again, definitely Gavs has to be really, really feeling these 3 second places. I think he's ready to get that 1st place. But he still has the lead. So we still have a few more events left, right? So we're back tomorrow. We're back in the next day, and we're back Sunday. Is that right?
That is correct. So tomorrow we'll feature final table coverage of event number 11. That is a $10,000 buy-in, a $500K guarantee. Blom's still in. Gavin Cochrane still in. Andras Nemeth still in. All of these guys still battling for that coveted purple jacket. And then Sunday, the main event starts. A $51K buy-in. Who will win a free seat to that main event? Who will win the purple jacket? Just 2 days left to play. All right, Elis is your guess. You're locking it in?
Yeah. You're going to go Gavs? Go with Gavs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gavs.
Can't be wrong to go with Gavs.
I'm going to go with Gavs too. Thank you all so much for watching, both on our PokerGO Facebook page and on our Poker Central YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. For our crew, for Joe Ingram, I'm Jeff Platt. We will see you tomorrow for more final table coverage of the Poker Masters Online PLO Series.
Peace.